if you cannot control your wife, that is not my problem. This movie is very, very frightening. And that line from one of the characters in the movie is the nub of it. It's not about what's in the plot. The plot, in a way, is a massive MacGuffin. The movie is called Vinyan, and it came out in 2008. And it's British, French, Belgian, Australian. It's directed by Fabrice Duvelts, and it is starring Emmanuel Béart and Rufus Sewell as two fairly rich, a fairly rich couple, Jean and Paul, who lost their son in the tsunami of 2004, and they have stayed over in Thailand, where it seems Paul is doing some volunteering. So I don't think he doesn't get paid for that. So I think he's doing that. So he must be very well heeled. But it's a party night for the charity, and they show a video, DVD, not a video. Video would be far too far in the past for them. Betamax. It was Betamax. It was like a Sonny Lumiere show. No. It's a DVD of the next thing that they want people to start putting their hands in their pockets for, the next work they have to do, which is in Burma. It's in Myanmar. And Jean, Emmanuel Béart, thinks that she sees their son because she's always believed that he is alive. It's a bit Don't Look Now. She sees someone in a red top walking away, and it does look as if his hair is a different colouring to the natural kind of blacker hair colouring in Burma, and she is insistent that this is their son. And from that moment on, after they leave the party and they're in a taxi, and Paul says to her, "You maybe should go and see someone. You maybe need some help." And she gets out of the taxi and runs away, and he has to find her. From that moment, it just doesn't let up, because there's no consideration. They have no consideration. This is the arrogance of middle-class people with money. There's no consideration of, well, actually, should we be listening to this person who just overheard our conversation in a nightclub and said, "I can help you"? All through this film, they are stuck in rooms in which the person who's taken them there leaves, and they have to give money, lots of money, to different people to take them to the islands where their son might be. At any point, they could be done away with, they could be arrested, they could be trafficked. At any point, there is no police here. One of their handlers says, "Let's have your passports." At this point, I looked at Alan, my friend Alan, hello Alan, and my lovely wife Debbie, hello Debbie, and said, their passports have gone. They must have got them back at some point. But it's things like this where you know you're out of your depth and you are lost. It's the same thing, which for me is very concerning, around the Blair Witch Project, when they walk all day and they're back in the same place. Because when I was a kid, I went on an exchange trip to Germany with a twin town, and we were walking through a small forest in the place where I was, Gütersloh, where I was. It's not a big town. The Autobahn, or a big road, runs through the middle of it, which leads to the Autobahn. There are houses on that big road. And myself, another friend, and two others, two blokes, two women, two boys, two girls, got separated. We got separated as we were talking, from the back of the party, and we came to a fork in the road, and we chose the wrong way, and we didn't know where we were. One of us had strained her foot. It's really horror stuff. We got to the main road, knocked on some doors, said, "We are English. Can you take us to Gütersloh?" And thankfully, one of the women, one of the wives, the family, said, "Yes, we'll take you there." So that really hits home for me. They are in terrible conditions. And to shoot this film must have been so difficult. They're in the forest, it's raining. The forest becomes another character, doesn't it? So, you know, the river, the cut off islands, the sea, the mud, the huts. There's no rules here. There are no rules, and this is another one of the problems here. In that, Rufus Sewell's character, Paul, is the one who probably has the most, has a footing in reality. At one point, he says to his wife, Jean, we've got to go. We've got to go back. I'm telling him we've got to go back. He tells their new handler, got to go back. While he sleeps, Jean gives him, the handler, all of the money and says, don't tell my husband, we have to go on. Now, it's a difficult part to play for Emmanuelle Béart, Jean. She doesn't quite manage it because it is incredibly difficult. She is absolutely emotionally linked to the idea of and cannot leave the idea of our son is still alive. She's obviously emotionally damaged by this. Of course she is. It's desolate. And the thing is that you've got her making incredible points or taking incredible risks. And he clearly loves her and wants to be with her, but she doesn't have any charisma. They don't have a good time together. She is completely sour. They are coupling physically because he wants to do that and she doesn't really want to, and he actually just wants to. It's an act he needs to do. That's a big problem for me in the film. The whole thing is a MacGuffin. And I said this about, 2/3 of the way through the film when they arrive at a big temple. A temple that's been ruined, a ruined temple that once been left. And I said, the kid is a MacGuffin. They've already been taken to an island where a child has been put in a red top, a Manchester United top actually, and they are told, have him, you pay. And it's a terrible situation, awful. And the ending, which I'm not going to tell you, is just frightening and horrible and disturbing and quite Lord of the Flies. So we've got that. We've got Heart of Darkness as well, Apocalypse Now and all that. So all of those movies are covered here. But it's not about that. This is about power in the relationship. This is about you cannot control your wife. If you cannot control your wife, that is not my problem. It's not about Jean, it's about Paul and the journey he goes through and the way that he does not take, not control, that's the wrong word, but does not get involved enough. He does not say, this is not good enough, I don't like this. He leaves it too late. And it's about power in the relationship. And relationships are about power. All relationships are about power. Sometimes you can have that great balance. A lot of the time you cannot. And that's what this is about. It's about a relationship falling to pieces because the power isn't there. It's about the connection. Only connect. They don't have the connection. And in a way, the film says we're going on this extraordinary journey which is so dangerous because we need to connect. And hopefully we'll find our son, or we may not, but we'll laugh about it later because it was an extraordinary situation. That's never going to happen. And the fear is that there are no rules here. There are no scares, no jump cuts or anything, no demonic possession or anything like that. But it's just the ominous fear of anything can happen here. All bets are off. There are no rules. That's the fear of the whole thing. No rules. Anything can take place at any time. It's a great movie and very, very frightening. Very frightening because we all have our rules and we all need to rely on things and there is nothing here to rely on. That is the scariest thing of all. And so is a breaking down relationship. Terrifying. Ta-ta.